Hello everyone, Ash Alpha here with the guide on weapon grinding and potentials. If you plan on using a weapon for a while before your next upgrade, it would be wise to grind that weapon to get more out of it. Weapon grinding allows players to take weapons they are already using and increase the stats and therefore the damage output. This increases the usefulness and longevity of said weapon. This system is one of the most core systems in the game and should be one of the first systems players should try to learn. To start off, let's talk about how the weapon grinding system works and what you need. To perform weapon grinding, you must first go to the shopping plaza and speak to Monica or Dudu. You can find them on the east side of the shopping plaza by the item techer. Weapons can be grinded to a maximum of plus 35, and the stats on the weapon increase with the grind level. You can find the base and max stats a weapon can have on the Ark's Visiphone website, which will be linked below. Weapon grinding works off of an EXP-like system, where you feed weapons that you do not want or need to the weapon you want to upgrade. This means to upgrade a weapon you first need extra weapons. You also need Meseta like anything else, and finally grinders. You use regular grinders for 1 to 12 star items and lambda grinders for 13 star and above. If you are looking for weapons to use as fodder, you should use 7 to 9 star weapons you find in the field while doing other content like Ultimate Quest and Advanced Quest. Anything of higher rarity has a better use, and anything of lower rarity doesn't give enough experience to be worth using as fodder. You can buy weapons from other players to use as fodder, but I can't recommend this. Moving on to grinders. Regular grinders can be obtained as drops from doing content as well, and if you are actively playing the game, you will find you will have more grinders than you know what to do with. Once again, there are other ways to get regular grinders, like buying them from other players or exchanging 10-star weapons and units for them, but once again, I can't recommend it. 10-star weapons and units are better to trade in for X cubes and photon spheres. Lambda grinders are a little bit rare, but are only used on 13-star plus weapons. You can obtain 3 per character per day via the Daily Arcs mission, and if you have made the 3 free characters that the game allows, you can get 9 a day via this method. You can also trade in 3 12-star weapons for a Lambda grinder, and I do this when I have an excess of 12-star weapons. I do keep some 12-star weapons, however, to use their special ability factor for A-fixing, or to store grind XP to later grind 13 stars. I will be going over the concept of storing grind XP later in this guide. Now that we have all the things we need to grind, we pick the item we want and up to 5 items to use as fodder. The items you use as fodder are consumed by this process, and I thought I should mention this even though it may seem obvious to most people. The Meseta cost for grinding is based off of the rarity of the items used and stays the same no matter how much fodder you use. The rarity of the item you are upgrading doesn't matter, only the rarity of the fodder used. As for grinders, you use 1 grinder per fodder used, so for 1 to 12 star items, if you use 5 fodder items, you will need 5 grinders. For 13 star plus items, it's 1 lambda grinder per fodder, and so once again, 5 fodders would need 5 lambda grinders. This next section is going to cover bonuses and weapons that come pre-grinded. Let's start off with bonuses. When you select the item you want to grind, you are taken to the fodder selection screen. You will see this box with 3 categories. Base Enhancement XP is based off of the rarity of the item and has no hidden bonuses. Materials bonus includes a couple of bonus types. First is the same weapon type bonus, which is low. Here you can see by using a machine gun as fodder to upgrade another machine gun, I get a plus 5 material bonus. Then, the next one is the series bonus. Here I'm upgrading a pair of lambda machine guns, which is part of the lambda series. If I hover over these lambda knuckles, you can see that I get a plus 20 material bonus. The last and best bonus is the same item bonus. If I select another pair of lambda twin machine guns, you can see I get a plus 45 material bonus. These bonuses do scale with the rarity of the item, but as most of you can guess, these bonuses aren't really worth it at the high rarities. I've said this a few times before, but I'll say it again because it's important. 10 star plus items are better turned into resources like X cubes and photon spheres. The last category is Enhancement bonus. The most common source of this is pre-grinded weapons, but there are also special affixes that boost grind XP. Here I have a bow with the Empty Embrace affix, which gives a bonus 90 grind XP. This is pretty uncommon, but I thought I'd mention it to be thorough. Going back to pre-grinded weapons, sometimes you can find weapons that are already plus 1 to plus 5. These weapons come from boxed or untech weapons. When you untech a weapon, it has a chance of coming pre-grinded up to plus 5. I keep anything that is plus 3 to plus 5 for use in later grinding. Using pre-grinded weapons is more cost and grinder efficient, so keep as many pre-grinded weapons as you can afford to store. Whenever you grind a weapon, you have a chance of Great Enhancement. This gives you a multiplier on your grind XP. You can increase your chance at getting a Great Enhancement with Great Enhancement aids. These are not to be confused with regular enhancement aids, which are used for suites and armor. Why they decided on such a weird naming scheme is beyond me, but I would double check that you are using a Great Enhancement aid and not a normal enhancement aid. You can get these from a few places like Scratches or the X-Cube shop, and they can be bought from other players as well. On top of that, sometimes PSO2 will have a weapon enhancement campaign that will also increase the Great Enhancement rate. While we are on the topic, let's cover other support items you can use while grinding real quick. There are items that let you change the element of a weapon, and items that let you increase the element percent. The items used to change the element type can be received from AC Scratches and bought and sold to and from other players. I would only use these on 13-star plus items where the cost to get the desired element is higher than the cost of the element change item, or you already have the item that you want, but it's not the element that you wanted. Element change items are relatively expensive, so you won't use these often, if ever. Moving on, element boosting items can also be obtained via AC Scratches and the X-Cube shop. This is not worth doing, to put it bluntly. If you want to increase the element on a weapon, you just need to grind the weapon with the exact same weapon, and preferably with the exact same element. Doing this is a much more efficient way of increasing the element on a weapon. These element boosting items are pretty much pointless and a relic of an older era of PSO2. Now let's talk about weapon potentials. A weapon's potential is a hidden ability a weapon has which can greatly increase a weapon's damage or give some useful effect, like PP cost reduction. Most endgame weapon choices are based on comparing a weapon's stats at max grind and the weapon's potential. So it should be pretty obvious that weapon potentials are important, and you should unlock at least the level 1 version as soon as possible. When looking at a weapon's potential, you are generally looking for anything that gives you a damage increase without demanding some awkward or uncommon condition. To unlock a weapon's potential, you must first take it to a grind of plus 10. The next time you select that weapon for grinding, it will give you a prompt to unlock the weapon's potential. Most weapons have only one potential, which is unlocked using photon spheres, but some weapons may have a second potential that may require the use of weaponoid boosters. You can get weaponoid boosters at the badge trade shop on the second floor of the shopping plaza. These cost 10 unique weapon badges, which are obtained by killing rare enemies. After this, your weapon will have its level 1 potential. To unlock the level 2 and level 3 versions of the potential, all you need to do is grind the weapon to plus 20 and plus 30 respectively, and follow the same prompts. Higher level potentials will enhance the potential's effect and subsequently its damage. If your weapon has even a semi-decent potential, make sure to unlock it, as this is an easy way to increase damage output. A lot of weapons will start with a grind cap of 30. The max grind and grind cap for weapons is 35. 13-star and above weapons, however, can come with a max grind cap of 35 already if you receive it as a drop, but if you get it as a trade-in, it may come with a cap of 30 instead. You can check this by going to the second tab of a weapon, and near the bottom you will see an enhancement level. In the parentheses, you can see the current grind cap here, and on this weapon it is 30. To increase this, you have to grind the weapon with the exact same weapon. Each time you do this, it increases the cap by 1 up to the maximum of 35. As some of you might have guessed, you can condense grind fodder into fewer items to save storage. If you have too much grind fodder, you can take it and grind one piece of fodder and store the XP on that item. This is a decent way to save space and one of the best ways to grind 13 stars and save lambda grinders. When my storage starts to fill up, I will grind 12-star weapons to plus 10 with my excess fodder. I use 12 stars as they can hold more EXP and still only use regular grinders. Then when I want to grind a 13-star item, I can use these pre-grinded 12-star weapons to reduce my lambda grinder usage. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you learned something useful, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ash Alpha out.